Upper Iowa was coming off a successful homecoming game last Saturday, a 52-20 victory against Concordia St. Paul, a game in which the Peacocks rolled up close to 600 yards of offense. Joining me right now is the play-by-play voice of Upper Iowa football, Joe Stasi. And Joe, a big edge against a Concordia St. Paul team that they really dominated.
Yeah, you know what? Thanks again, Elwin, for putting me on to represent Upper Iowa football. Everybody at Upper Iowa, again, certainly appreciates the effort that you put forth and giving Upper Iowa the just due for being the only NCAA Division II school in the state. And what that means is we have scholarship athletes right in our backyard that could play at a lot bigger schools that choose Division II for a number of reasons. And you mentioned the 598 yards offense. That is true, 598 yards. But what is even more impressive, Elwin, is Upper Iowa's defense. We gave up 120 yards defensively. Gave them some points to start off. At halftime, Upper Iowa was on top 31-20, and then in the second half, Upper Iowa's defense just clamped down. Nate Romer up front, Javelle Rollins on the defensive line, Zach Rees, Dakota Baston, and we have some just tremendous linebackers, and Derek Hirschman, Alex Wall, Cole Stephen, and then in the secondary with Tate Thompson, Marcus McCoy, Nick Corley, we just shut people down and covered wide receivers really well downfield. Just a tremendous 52-20 win that vaults us to 4-2, 1-1 in the NSIC South. And again, even more impressive, we were 1-8 against Concordia St. Paul coming into last week's homecoming contest. So Upper Iowa continues to gain confidence. Tremendous outing, 8 of 16 on third down conversions. On the other side of the ledger, Concordia, we only allowed 2 of 12. And our red zone scores, we were 5 of 6, and just continued to operate well offensively. And we can go into some of the names, but I just impressed with the pace of play that Upper Iowa's offense goes, and they call it the NASCAR package, Elwin.
Yeah, I understand that they took close to 100 snaps in that game last week.
Yeah, 95 snaps, and it's the NASCAR package, and then they've been implementing it for quite some time. And as a play-by-play broadcaster, you know it just as well as anybody. You can't even breathe. I mean, after a play is completed, let's say it's a run to the right side and a pickup of 3 yards, Upper Iowa's offensive line, before the running back can even get up from being tackled, they're already looking for their positions. They're down. They all know where they have to be, and they try to get a snap off within 12 to 15 seconds of the play being over. And that leads itself to sustained drives. It opens up the pass if you're running a bunch, but more importantly, it's just really hard to get set against and defend when you are trying to defend. It's hard to substitute when you've got the offense on the other side of the ball setting up for a play as soon as the previous play is over. So it's very impressive. It's hard to execute, and Tom Shea and all of his coaches, Ben Curran, Robert Arnheim on the offensive side of the ball, Jimmy Graff should get a great amount of credit for that.
You mentioned that Upper Iowa is now 4-2 overall, Joe, and I want to put that in perspective here for just a little bit, because 4 wins for a lot of programs, that's not a lot. For Upper Iowa, this is a program that hasn't been known to have a winning program in its history, and I think there's only been something like less than 20 winning seasons for Upper Iowa, and they can solve that with a win this week and next week to get another winning season. That'd make 3 in a row.
Yeah, and that number is right around there. I mean, do you have to go back in the 60s in the Eb Eichheit era, 61 through 64, 65, or 62 through 65 before we've rattled off 3 or 4 winning seasons in a row. Winona State, we're going on the road. We've never beat Winona State. 0-8 against the Winona State Warriors. They're down a little bit this year. They've lost to MSU Moorhead 42-17. They then beat Minot and Bemidji, both fairly close ball games. They lost to St. Cloud 31-20. They beat Concordia St. Paul, our common opponent, last week 51-7, and then last week lost to the number 5 team in the country in the University of Sioux Falls, South Dakota Cougars, 51-30. Next week, they play the number one team in the country. So this is a ball game that they know they can win. They feel they can win because they've always beaten us, but they know they're in for a heck of a challenge because we're ready. And Upper Iowa has developed into a football program, and it has taken me 15 years to really realize that. Obviously, with two great years in a row, you think, okay, well, that's because of great recruiting, and we had, sophomores and juniors and then seniors with the likes of Cole Jaskey and Chris Brown and many others, Lucas Hefty and Shea Gutman and Derek Giesking. And now all those guys are gone, and everybody was wondering what was going to happen to this Upper Iowa football program, and they have pleasantly surprised everybody. It's a football program. The red shirt system has worked for Tom Shea, and I'm so happy for Upper Iowa. Winona State's very, very skilled offensively. They have a quarterback by the name of Jack Jensen. He's 6'5", 235 pounds. He's very versatile, and all he likes to do is drop back, get time to throw, and go deep. And so if Upper Iowa can continue their defensive dominance and just continue to put pressure on quarterbacks, if they get in this guy's face and sack him a couple times or just get him out of the pocket, I love Upper Iowa's chances to come back 5-2, and that's when you start talking about postseason stuff. And up next for Upper Iowa at home, and man, I tell you what, I hope we can get a great crowd at Fayette on the 24th. It is I believe it's a night game. It is a 6 p.m. start. Southwest Minnesota State's in town. They're 5-1 coming into this weekend, so that would be a tremendous home game. But first, we got to beat Winona, and I like our chances. And that's the first time I can say that in 9 years.
I know the coaching staff likes to take it one game at a time, but you mentioned the possibility of postseason play for Upper Iowa if things work out. And I know there's a long way to go yet in the season for the Peacocks, but this game certainly has bowl implications on it, doesn't it?
Well, you look at it this way. You've got Minnesota State, they're number one in the country. They're undefeated. You have University of Sioux Falls. We still have to play University of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We beat them before. We haven't beat them when they're this strong. But, if Upper Iowa, if they don't want to start playing the ifs and buts, because, ifs and buts, candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas all day, or whatever that's, it's a signature win. And you take it one game at a time, and you're right, this is a signature win because we've never beat them. And then, there's going to be two teams that go to the playoffs in the NCAAs out of this conference. We're in such a tough region, we don't have enough time to go into all that. But there's a mineral water bowl game where the team that is just out of the playoffs in the NSIC takes on another team from another conference. It's a pretty prestigious bowl game in NCAA Division II. And I'm not here to tell you that we can make the playoffs, because you have to line up and think you can do it. And Upper Iowa's given us every reason to think we can compete against the very best. Almost winning on the road at the University of Minnesota Duluth, lost 28-24 in the final seconds of that game. And then we had the number one team on the ropes at halftime, 10-7, Minnesota State at home. So, hey, it's NCAA Division II college football, and it's a treat to call, and I so look forward to this ball game, an afternoon ball game at Winona State University.
A team with a lot of confidence heading on the road to Warrior Stadium in Winona, Minnesota. 1 o'clock kickoff Saturday afternoon, 12:30 the pregame here on AM 950 KOEL with Joe Stasi on the call. And Joe,